All right, awesome. So somebody sent a DM to me. Shout out to that person. I don't know who that person is. I couldn't tell, but it's probably one of the people that one of us that come here on a regular. And they said, "Oh, you could do a show." And then okay, I was like, "Yeah, I'll do a show with it. Why not?" Right? So the topic of this segment is called "He Never Apologizes." So let me go ahead and read the DM to you, and then we'll analyze it together. So the person says, "Hi, man of prestige. I have a question that has been bothering me. Listen carefully because I want to hear your thoughts before I go in on mine, okay? So listen carefully. Hi, man of prestige. I have a question that has been bothering me for a while. How can I handle a man?" Let me finish reading. "How can I handle a man who doesn't apologize when he does something wrong but justifies his action? I have tried to talk to him for 3 years now, but it hasn't changed. What can I do to change it? Or how can I help myself not to feel bad or feel angry that he just comes around like nothing mean while I am burning inside? The bad part is because I point out something that doesn't sit well with me and he refuses to apologize or tries to twist it. I get angry and begin to fire back. And then he holds on to what I said." Hold on to what I said is actually a big part of today's live stream. The main topic, which we're going to get into after this. Hold on to what I said. Then I apologize and say you forced me to say those things through your actions. All right. Anybody, you get it? You get it or you don't get it? Anybody heard that? Did you miss it?
Oh, beauty.
Undefeated. I love women. Oh my God. Right. Did you get it?
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right.
I'll rewind myself a little bit. I'll read it. Maybe you can catch it real quickly. All right. The bad part is because I point out something that doesn't sit well with me and he refuses to apologize or tries to twist it, I get angry and begin to fire back, and then he holds on to what I said. Then I apologize and say, you forced me. Every time I read it, I laugh. You forced me to say those things through your actions and inactions, but he still refuses to apologize. Very good guy, I must say. Betty. She didn't put the word but let's just put it right. She's a very good guy, I must say. It's just that part. Like if I put a but in between that, right? Like a but. Like very good guy, I must say, but it's just that part. Let me just squeeze in a but, right? Let's make it what it is. Just that I don't think he has been able to get that part of me. Meanwhile, I have been able to get everything he wants. I have been asked what I'm not doing right. I have even asked what I'm not doing right, and he says I do everything well. And if you do a show about it, I will watch because I want to learn. Thank you for your response. All right. I'm a very big guy. The best way to bribe me for a public coaching without mentioning your name is send me a DM. I will do it, okay? Just keep in mind as we get bigger, it might get too much, right? So I might never get to it, right? All right, let's come to the chat. Let's see. Shout out to Cynthia. Hello, Cynthia. She said, who are these people? It's painful when someone doesn't apologize. He's very manipulative.
Oh, beauty.
Anyway, let me continue. I didn't say anything. That simple word, sorry, starts the healing process. Okay? That part is adding Sansan to Hagari and can cause serious issues and can cause lots of resentment. Okay? Alright, so are you trying to say you guys don't have, you just want to listen to my own take on this? Is that all you want? You don't have anything to say about this? All 13 of you. Shout out to all 13 people watching live. And if you're watching this later on as a replay, gang, make sure you leave your own comments, your own advice in the comment too. I want to hear your thoughts on this, okay? And leave it now before you continue watching so that you don't steal from what I have to say, okay? I want all of the perspectives. I need all of the perspectives because that's how we learn, okay? But let me do the analysis real quickly so we can go on to the main story. I have a question that has been bothering me for a while. How can I handle a man? So handle a man, I know you don't mean any harm, but there's no how, okay? You know, I rather, ideally I would like to hear, how can I seduce a man? That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to start hearing from you. How can I seduce a man who doesn't apologize, right? So now there's an oxymoron going on really quickly, right? Seduce, doesn't apology. Why would I want to seduce him when he doesn't apologize? Exactly, because you feel less than. You don't realize the kind of power that you have, right? So it makes sense that, you know, if he doesn't apologize, you get weaker and weaker and weaker. And what did Chinye say? It's painful when someone doesn't apologize. He's very manipulative. It comes across as manipulative. Okay? There's a difference between he's very manipulative and it comes across as manipulative. One takes your power away. One retains your power with you. Okay? Ola, that's the same thing. It's no different. Listen to me. You see, you just demonstrated it right there really quickly. One makes you feel powerless. The other one, from a place, you have to be aware, of course. When you have self-awareness, one tells you that I'm still in control, right? The other one says, well, I lost control, so somebody should help me correct him. In fact, I'm going to drag him to a counselor so they can tell him he's wrong, right? After they tell him he's wrong, you're still inside the bottle because a part of you feel like it wasn't authentic. Like he said I'm sorry, but it didn't come from the heart. You knew that you had to manipulate him to come up with the I'm sorry, right? So now, if somebody is coming off as manipulative, it's just as bad. Especially when you don't know what you're doing, okay? See, a woman helping you to, you know, reshape or like, let me think of it, that's not sustainable. It needs to be a man who actually will course correct and, you know, understand, right? But how is he going to know that? That's the question, because it's not necessarily doing it intentionally, right? That's why I said it's coming across as manipulative, as opposed to he wants to manipulate you. If he wants to manipulate you, I will need you to tell me what else is the motive. Why would he want to be manipulative? I would need that information, right? But I don't have that information, and oftentimes you don't even have that information. You just feel what you feel, and when you feel what you feel, it becomes the truth, right? It becomes reality. Fantasy is reality. Well, perception is reality. Well, your feelings becomes your reality, right? So let's keep going here. How can I handle a man who doesn't apologize when he does something wrong but justifies his action? So that leaves too many opening for me. When you say he does something wrong, those are my buzzwords. Those are trigger word for me, right? Because he does something wrong. What is it that he did wrong, right? Is this something like he bite somebody? Abi, he came across as manipulative, right? See the extreme, right? He came across as manipulative, didn't mean any harm. But you know, it was kind of like saucy, and he was leaving for work, and it was just all, maybe he's not a morning person. Like that could feel wrong to you, right? Or he buys somebody. Like, what do we mean by wrong? So that, you know, so when you say but justifies his action, already tells me that it's something at an emotional level, which means something that you can actually take control of. You can actually control him like a puppet if you know what you're doing, right? Because it's something that is still you can still like use your words and be manipulative and justify it, right? So now that's going to require a lot of patience on your end, and We're talking about romantic relationships, so maybe you don't have that patience. Maybe you feel like you should know better, right? Well, the reality is that he doesn't, right? So you have a couple of ways, but the first way is to let him know that you have to own it. Whatever it is that he's doing it wrong, in your opinion, which your opinion is valid, you need to break it down to your feelings. What does it make you feel? And you need to learn how to express that, right? But when you own it, it's easier to hear than you did something. And when you're confrontational, right? You did something wrong. I don't want to be wrong, bro. Excuse me, ladies. I don't want to be wrong. Okay? Just like the rest of you, I'm obsessed with being right. Right? So if you tell me I'm wrong, my guards will come right up immediately. My guards will come up right up immediately if you tell me I'm wrong. So that's the first thing I see right there. So if you feel like it's wrong, there's a good chance you've been telling him it's wrong, and that's probably why it is not working, right? Let me see here. Ola, this one passed me. What I want to say is not a good one. Dilo said, I can see both sides because it's really annoying when someone doesn't apologize. However, he didn't make her say those hurtful things. See? Both sides. I love it, right? When I say manipulative, I'm referring to when he refused to accept his fault, right? He has to believe that he's at fault first, right? So sometimes he will say, my bad. It actually doesn't mean that he just wants to brush the issue under the rug, right? And my bad is kind of like, I'm sorry. But, it's just like, okay, my bad. And you know that it's not remorseful, right? And it still doesn't feel good. What you're looking for is not the word sorry. It's not, okay? If what you're looking for is the word sorry, that person never says sorry ever before. There's a feeling behind the sorry that you're looking for. You're probably looking for them to acknowledge more so than sorry, right? There's nothing wrong with sorry, but sorry is such a mild, very, very sorry for the most part actually destroys more. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, because a lot of people use that sorry that you're looking for, they'll give it to you, but now they are manipulating you, right? Because they won't change their behavior, and the best apology is a changed behavior, right? So if they don't change their behavior, it's like now that resentment will be worse because you heard the sorry. Now you've been set on a scale, right? And then now your expectations are a little bit higher, or it's been put back up. Then disappointment comes after that again. So it's very, very tricky, but it's not that deep. I'll get through it. He refused to accept his fault, and then she's in a where she says something to offend, and then she apologizes. Still at the end, he doesn't apologize. That's a good point. Most people that are obsessed with getting apologies from people tend to apologize very quickly to a fault. You didn't see that coming, right? I don't think you saw it coming. Okay. Most people that crave for someone to say I'm sorry, they tend to say I'm sorry quicker than necessary, effectively manipulating the situation, right? And the way it feels on the other end is the speed at which you say I'm sorry is not as fast as your behavior actually changing, so it creates more resentment, and that's what the other person is feeling. So the main point of what I'm trying to make right now is like, we got to bring sorry, take it off that pedestal and put it back right here. Right here. When somebody says I'm sorry, what you're looking for is probably more so acknowledgement. You want to be able to feel that they're remorseful about the behavior, and hopefully you get some kind of change behavior, right? And that's how complicated the word sorry or apologies in general can get. Okay, because it depends on your personality, it depends on what you're used to. If you guys, the way you were raised, you're very quick to say I'm sorry and people move on, you expect that from your partner. And when they don't meet up to that because they were raised differently, it creates issues. The issue is not the word sorry, it's the frame of reference, right? It's basically you're referencing something else that is out of context completely, right? So we got to think a little bit deeper, right? Still at the end, he doesn't apologize. No, he doesn't. And we're going to talk about that, right? It will be more painful when you speak to him calmly and say, my love, that thing that you did truly hurt my feelings. And he still doesn't see why he should apologize. So it doesn't have to be that painful. It could, when you use the word my, you're owning it. You have your expectations are managed at that point in time. You're just expressing your feelings. No attachment to expectations or to the outcome. When you tell people how you feel, you need to detach yourself from the outcome. As a matter of fact, that's part of game, right? You don't want to be attached to the outcome because that's part of expectations, right? Because you set yourself up again because they might not give you the response you're looking for, but you feel how you feel. But if you learn how to attach power to yourself, right, and say, no, I feel how I feel. I just gotta let you know how I feel. When you did this, that, I felt this type of way, right? And then you also let them offer their own insights to it, right? That angle is completely different from looking for sorry. If they outrightly cheated on you and they don't say, I'm sorry, the issue is still not the sorry. The issue is cheating. A person who lacks self-respect, but now they're starting to lack respect for you, right? Oh, at least that's how you feel, right? But you need to understand that it starts from lack of self-respect, lack of self-adequacy, that's what makes people cheat. Ultimately, because the person that have a certain level of, the certain behavior they won't do, right? Because they have too much to lose. And I'm talking mentally, okay? Not financially or anything like that, right? They have too much to lose already personally. So when they get to a space where they don't feel like they're about to lose anything, at that point in time, you have to consider that maybe this wasn't about me. It still hurts. I feel hurt. You own it. As opposed to, and it's easier said than done, by the way, because you feel how you feel. You want us to help you call them evil. And then when we finish calling them evil, you still don't feel better. Yeah, but when you understand this and you can see that far, you manage your battles. You pick your battles in life. Okay. So pride is also the main thing that makes it very hard for people to apologize. Here's the issue that I'm having with that. We're going that angle. I have to talk to the person that's talking to me and not their partner. Okay? Because anything that looks like I'm talking about the person I haven't spoken to or heard them how they talk, this is the same issues with Jamie and Nikki, right? Jamie is doing a lot of talking, so he's giving us a lot of ammunitions. Like, at least me, I can see through all the BS and say, well, if you do this, if you do enough of this, it will create that. If you do enough of this, to create that. It will help create that. You're not the one creating it, but it will help create that, right? Same thing with Tyrese, right? Same thing with Dotun, right? If you're doing a lot of the talking, you're giving me more to, because nobody is perfect. Nobody only pass, all of us, right? But remember, our goal is to extract the lessons, right? So when we say pride is the reason why he hasn't apologized, I don't know yet. It might be, but I don't know yet. But I don't think she needs that, because now what are we going to do with that? We're going to go back to him and say, Onik Biraganye, you're a prideful man. How's that going to work out? It's a romantic relationship, remember? Right? How's that going to work out? Because I'm looking for what we could tell her that she can go back and use to exercise our power, our own power of influence. Because if that person chose to be with you or is meant to spend any kind of time with you, you have more power than you realize. That's what I want to focus on. You feel me? So yes, it's possible that it's a prideful man, but the fact that it's a prideful man can actually be something you're benefiting from. So is that all the way wrong? We don't know. We don't know what it was, because we all have pride. We just have to manage them, right? So to what extent are we talking about? Is this something that she can see as like, that's my proud man, right? Or no, that pride is hurting me or is hurting our relationship, right? What could I do about this? And if it's that bad, if it's as bad as the other extreme, then she needs to do one simple thing. She needs to excuse herself from the relationship. But if that's how we decide to, like, you're gonna have a lot of people excusing themselves from relationship, right? If they don't learn how to manage their situation, even conflict, right? So let me go. let me analyze it a little bit further because I didn't get into it yet, But these are just some insights because I don't know. A lot of it is general. Like the first statement, she said, when he does something wrong but justifies his action. In fact, when people end up in argument, guess what both of them are doing at the same time? They're justifying, right? Both parties are feeling like you're justifying BS, right? In fact, both of them at least one of them is already starting to think you're narcissistic. This is knock behavior. Now you try to make me feel like I did something wrong, right? How many times have you heard that in the last 1 or 2 weeks? A lot, right? Exactly. So, and that's called two to get two. That means they cancel each other out, and that's not the issue. Okay, if both of you are accusing each other of the same thing, at that point, we need to dig in deeper, right? I've tried to talk to him, okay, for 3 years now, but it hasn't changed. So talking to him, it's not working, right? And I'm guessing you probably thought that was also communication, right? Talking to him is hit. If it doesn't work the second, third time, talking is probably not going to work. Maybe you need to learn effective communication. There's a difference between talking and effective communication. Effective communication will require you to be able to listen more so than you talk. All right. Let's see here. So she says, what can I do to change it, or how can I help myself not to feel bad or feel angry that he just comes around like nothing mean while I'm burning inside, like nothing happened, right? So a key part of this is still to learn how to express yourself. You still express yourself, but own it. Be in full ownership of that conversation, at least from your own side of the conversation. Be aware, be intentional when you're communicating, right? Okay, we already spoke to this a little bit, right? Which is you release yourself from the outcome. Don't be attached to the outcome, right? All you're trying to do is express how you feel in a romantic relationship with a person that you care about, right? Just that enough. Like you're with somebody that you care about. Process that, right? Let that sink. If it's a healthy situation, you should by default already be happy about that. If it's a situation that makes you feel that bad, that you feel sad, just the idea of being with this person, you might need to back off a little bit from the relationship. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision, right? Just back off so you can see what's going on, right? But if it's been 3 years, it's a long time that you're feeling that this situation is making you feel bad and feel angry. Because anger is an extreme. That's an extreme. If you truly mean the word anger, right? That's an extreme. So if you're feeling that way, that's not a healthy situation, right? But again, there's not much you're telling me except that he did something wrong. I will need to know the specifics of that, because when you say somebody did something wrong, that they are now justifying, it sounds like it's all purely emotional. It's just your word against mine. I had the disagreement. Like I think, like it's not even as deep as your breath smell. No, it doesn't smell. Like if it's something like that, hey, can you smell this? Somebody else can verify. If no one else can verify what we're talking about, right? Then that's purely emotional. You have to manage that. You have to learn how to manage that. And there are probably deeper issues beyond just him doing something wrong. It might be something you feel is wrong. It might be something doesn't feel is wrong. And when the man doesn't feel is wrong and you're telling him it's wrong, it's kind of weird to ask him to admit that he's wrong and then apologize. Okay? That actually tampers with precisely what you are attracted to in him, which is the fact that he's a man, right? So I would need to know what you're talking about. It might be something you need to completely back off and leave the relationship, and then that's probably what he's going to need to see for him to correct himself, because it's been 3 years. Also, if it's been 3 years and it's been bad behavior, if it's truly bad, because I get to believe you that it's bad because it feels bad for you, right? And you're staying for 3 years, that still points fingers back at you. Like, why would you want to continue to stay in a bad situation? The answer is not a crime. It's just something you need to assess. You need to ask yourself that question. Why am I staying in a situation that makes me feel bad and angry all the time? Right? Because people don't change unless there's incentive. They are gravitating away from pain towards pleasure, towards some kind of relief. People, they're not going to change their behavior. That's not just your boyfriend, your man, or whoever this is. Just everybody. Okay? That's just human behavior, right? So that's why I prefer that you use seductive tactics, ethical seductive tactics, because it leads with value, right? But you also see foresight. You know you're going to benefit from it. Because if you don't see that far, you're going to feel like somebody's manipulating you and it won't work. So you need to be able to see further than what you're feeling right now. Let's continue. The bad part is because I point out something that doesn't sit well with me. All right. So I'm listening to the language. It could be language, I don't know where you're. Because sometimes when people in Nigeria or people that use Nigeria lingo, when they speak certain English, I'm hearing something that's not really what they mean. It just sounds very strong, So, but when you say you're pointing out something that doesn't sit well with me, right? I don't have a choice than to hear the vibe in that, like you're pointing out like, sure, you see it's wrong again, or it could mean that, or it could be you're pointing out that, hey babe, I don't like, can you please move this closer? I like it this way, right? All right. So it could mean any of the two, right? So if it's extreme, right? If it's you point out, even pointing out, let me tell you, our ego. See, if you want men, right? The ego is a thing that we all have to manage, okay? I beg, no verse. It's just what it is. It's part of what you're attracted to. The fact that it's a manly man, right? So if you if anything seems confrontational, you're questioning, not even authority, just my manhood, just me be like I'm the one you're with now. Anything that smell like that, right? It backfires. Okay. So what should you do now? So I should just appease and no, you don't have to. You just have to be aware. Just awareness is half the battle won. You just have to be aware. So when you see certain reaction, you're not as surprised anymore. So if it was me and you were pointing out something that I did that doesn't sit well, you know what I mean? What do you mean doesn't sit well? It's not that I'm saying it's not that deep, and you are telling me everything is always a joke to me, right? Or I'm telling you that no, I'm not saying everything is a joke to me. I'm just I'm saying sit well. Kilo day, is everything okay? Because I'm thinking something else that's wrong with you, and wait, what's wrong with you? I didn't mean wrong with you. I'm thinking it's something else that's bothering you, and you're trying to tell me something else. It just gets very, very complicated. But really, it's my own ego that's been tampered with, right? But I'm trying my best to be, but it doesn't sit well with me. It sounds quite authoritative, and like you're questioning. In fact, you're not questioning my authority, because I know you don't. You're questioning my being a man, right? You're telling me I'm not enough, and that's not something that men generally wants to feel, because you reward us for feeling like we are the man. So the moment you take that away, just because see finish don't enter small, it messes with the whole vibe of everything, So just something to be aware of right there. It doesn't sit well with me, and he refuses to apologize or tries to twist it. Yeah, I can see that. By the way, what you're dealing with, don't throw this relationship away because of this. It's something that you need to walk through, because you will become a better person on the other end. Okay? You become a better person, and you will enjoy your relationship better once you figure it out. Okay? But it's typical. Don't let somebody tell you that, oh, he's a narcissist, let's just throw it into the bush. They will pick him up. Okay? Not those particular ones, but possibly them. But somebody will pick him up and dust him off. He will learn from that situation, and then you now have to figure out another man who will do the same thing. Okay? This is good. This is friction. This is something that nobody teaches anybody anywhere. They don't teach this in counseling. in the 2 years counseling they do before people get married. They don't teach anything that sounds like conflict resolving or resolution. They will run over it. They will read definitions in a book for you or on a screenshot or on a presentation, but they don't talk about what it looks like in real life, right? So he might, if you don't talk about it, like kiss, like he's, but he's not paying attention. But I would say again, the key thing there is express how you feel. Well, hey babe, I'm not over what happened yesterday. What do you mean what happened yesterday? Well, I feel like you owe me an apology. If it's an apology that you want, ask for it. I owe you an apology for what? I can't apologize for something I didn't do wrong. You don't think you did that wrong? Okay, so now it becomes a matter of, is it wrong? Is it right? Right? And then you have to assess your situation. Is that really what you want? You want right and wrongs? You want to be discussing what is right and wrong? Who squeezed the toothpaste the wrong way? It wasn't you. I think it was you. This is the part where they say, when you become mature in life, you let go of certain things. You pick your battles. Is it worth it? Listen, if I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, I will feel differently and I will tell you a different story. That's just life. I might have a different experience. If it's not that deep, you're going to need to, one of the hardest things for human beings to do is to let it go. Let it go. Men should lead in this, by the way. Men should always lead, okay? Because that's what women love, right? But every human being needs to learn how to let it go. And you need to be aware that it's very difficult. Okay? If it's a situation where he pied somebody, no, don't let that go. He needs to go to jail. If it's a situation that, remember about 2 years ago, you said something, you didn't say it, and he doesn't remember it being said that way, let it go. It's not better anywhere else, I promise. Allah. Okay, he's probably dealing with more of that from you than you realize. Well, you're not supposed to realize because it's the one that's just letting it go, right? The idea is when he lets go, you don't realize he let go of something. Just assume that if you're with someone and there's something you love about them, if you're able to say very good guy, I must say, they are probably giving you tons of grace. Maybe not. Just get in the business of giving people grace. And then focus on what you enjoy the most about them. That's key. Because I don't know. She says, the bad part is because I point out something that doesn't sit well with me and he refuses to apologize or tries to twist it. I get angry. Well, it's trying to twist it, meaning it's justifying the same thing you said already. So it to come off as twisting it, right? So now, if it's outright a liar, there's some people that are liars. Let me say this. Like some people are just liars. They can lie for heaven and earth. Guess what you still have to do, ma'am? Pick your clothes and go. Because you shouldn't be with a liar who is just lying about everything. You can't feel safe. You can't feel secure. You can't trust him. But if it's a situation that, I just didn't like how you moved this way, I mean, some stupid stuff that you're just stuck on obsession with being right, let go. Let go, So now you have to do the assessment since you didn't tell me the details, right? I get angry and begin to fire back. Fire back should not be normalized ever, even if it's verbal, okay? It will happen by default. That's just life. When you find yourself in poto and you start to feel the need to protect yourself, you will do it. But you need to be aware that that's not the goal. That's where you need to leave and go to the other side, where you don't feel the need to do that ever again. But fireback sounds, I don't know if in Ondo maybe it means it's just talking, but for me right now, fireback sounds like a very toxic conversation. That's not communication, right? What you need to learn is effective communication. Yes, it's hard. It's easier said than done, but effective communication when you find yourself in even crisis. Can you stay calm? Can you drink water? Can you take cold shower, babe? We'll talk about that when I finish the shower. When you take that few minutes to take that warm water, whatever you like, right? You will notice that you already felt better, and then you can still have the conversation, but more from a better, you know what I mean? So hopefully that helps. It's just that part. She said it's just that part. Apology. It's the apology thing that she needs. I think we already spoke a lot to apology today. Apology is Good, if you want it and the person is willing to give it. If you want it and the person gives it and they're not willing to give it, it's still bad. You're building resentments. And sometimes men will just give it to you just to give it to you, but they're storing it there that your own is too much. Is that really what you want? You want to actually have a conversation and get what you want, and not necessarily I'm sorry. I'm sorry is cute, but it needs to be backed by purpose. There needs to be purpose around it, not just random willy-nilly sorry just because somebody says it makes life better. No, it doesn't. It actually gets worse. Okay? For sorry is very destructive. We can talk about that another day, but it's a very destructive word for the most part. Okay? Directly and indirectly. Okay? Let's see here. It's just that part, just that I don't think he has been able to get that part of me. Yeah, he's probably struggling too. There's no question about that. But again, if you're young and you're just coming into the, again, that's why I told you, it's nothing peculiar about you. We've all been through this, right? Just relax. It's something you need to figure out. It's not common sense, okay? But you will become some of the top 3% of human beings when it comes to relationships if you can figure this out. Because this is little things that actually end people up in divorce. Not the extremes. Not because somebody's Olosho slept with herself on OnlyFans 50 years later. No, it's none of that stuff. That's not your regular. These things right here is what end people up in divorce, because it builds layers of resentments, and before they know it, it's like there's nothing here left, and before you know it, somebody is whispering in their ears and somebody is showing them that it could be better somewhere else. And we're humans, we move. If it feels like it's going to be better somewhere else, we're just going to move. That's just reality, right? And we don't owe you an explanation. Shout out to Tyrese. Anyway, I have been asked what I'm not doing right, and he says I do everything well. Yeah, that statement right there, when he says you're doing everything well, you clearly don't believe that, and there's a reason why you don't believe that. Why don't you have a conversation around that? You keep saying I do everything well, but I don't feel that way, and I would like to have a conversation about it. You see, I. It's not confrontation. It's about you, and it's almost like you're. So I don't know what happened, but I'm here. Did you guys? Yeah, you guys probably noticed a flash out. I'm here though. All right, let me just make sure my audio is back on. I don't know what happened. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I'm gonna come to the chat in a second because I know you guys are going in. I'm here, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know. I just noticed my screen went out. So, I've been able to get everything he wants. She said, I've been able to get everything he wants, right? So, that's good. You should take credit for that. You should continue to take credit for that if you are sure of that. But if you've been doing that, like you've been giving, right? A good relationship, your happiness actually is already full and above and flowing over when you're sure that you're giving. Okay? That's a healthy relationship. When you're sure that you're giving, that you're overgiving, not overgiving, but you're giving to the point that that person's cup is full and flowing over. Your happiness should come from that. If it's not coming from that, then maybe something is wrong with that statement. What do you mean by you've been giving everything that he wants? Or has he been giving grace? Again, this is too many things that I don't know, right? I've even asked what I'm not doing right, and he says I do everything well. People will do that, right? Because you know there's a disconnect. You know there's a disconnect, right? And you have to get to the bottom of it, because if you don't feel right, if you continue to feel bad and feel angry, you will sabotage, okay? It's not gonna last. You're only gonna just build resentment. So I think from everything you told me so far, it sounds like he's yeah, you need to get to the bottom of it, because it's obviously bothering you. Maybe be a little bit more specific on what he did wrong. If he did something that is that wrong that you would disengage from your seduction abilities, your ability to influence, your power of influence, that you feel like it's not worth it, and you stay there, then that still questions your self-esteem. Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to punish yourself like that? But if it's not, if it's just, well, it's give or take, we should be able to serve each other. If that's what you're saying, auntie, okay, that give and take stuff, you gotta be careful with it. Sometimes you're comparing yourself to other relationships. Okay, sometimes you don't overtake. You're overtaking the relationship, right? Yeah. So, but it's all feelings, right? So there's something that's making you feel unsafe, insecure about the relationship. I cannot, like, your statements are very generic, and sadly, on this public platform, we can only be as specific as possible. Cannot be so specific. So it is what it is. But I'm back. Oh. Hey, brother Ben, how far are you there? Salute to you, my brother. Not to say, send that person to me. Let me lecture her. I moved from bass boost, not physical. Amen. Thank you for saying that. To my husband, saying yes to almost everything. My dear says, leave that man or work on yourself. That is that's almost better than what I said. So leave if it's that bad, or work on yourself so you can attract what you deserve. I love that, Natu. That's good stuff, right? Yep. How will you handle this? Do share, please. You wanted to know. Yeah. See, sis, listen. Approach matters. Let it go and focus on yourself. Yeah. That is actually action words. Let it go is like an action word phrase, right? And it's extremely difficult for humans in general, not just man or woman, right? Focusing on yourself is also very difficult. The easiest things for us to do is to point fingers at everyone else but self. And guess what? There's more than enough reason to do that, because if you say you are right, I believe you. I believe you.
You're right.
If you say you're right, I really do. But clearly that's not enough, because you don't believe that you're right. If you believe you're right, that should be enough for everything in life. It's not enough to be right? So there's more to it. Avoid the need to be right. Yep, it will. Where did you go? Oh, okay, I'm back. Yes, we did, but it's loud and clear now. Okay, good. Wishing her all the best. The person who wrote you, yes. I wish her all the best too, but a person who never apologizes, let me just make sure I finish it properly, right? A person who never apologizes, because that's the main point here, right? I would make sure I assess, what does apology mean to you? Okay? Then also, have you considered that he doesn't feel like he needs to apologize for whatever you're talking about? So we need to identify what we're talking about, right? As much as we can, because once it's at an emotional level, then it might be a situation where we just need to educate him that this thing makes her feel this way, makes your woman feel this way. Well, she should fix her feeling. Well, maybe you shouldn't be a man. Right? Then we can have that conversation with him, but we need this a few steps before we get to saying, what he needs apology. And I need you to be aware that you're putting apologies on the pedestal, bring it down. There are other reasons, there are other things that needs to back apology for it to be authentic, for you to even feel wholesome after somebody offers you an apology. There's some I'm sorry that people will say to you that you just know that this is bullshit. You just know, you just know. But you want the apology to come from someone that mean it, right? It's they want to apologize. They really feel like, I missed that part, I should have, right? They understand it, right? They understand why a lot of people tender apologies, they don't understand why they apologize. It's just because their wife keep asking them for apology, so they keep giving apology, but it still feels terrible, it still feels bad, so that's why. So let's come back to this another day. I'm sure she might have more that she wants to share, maybe not, right? But this is awesome. I send some more DMs if you guys want that, and we'll focus on it and we'll build from there. I don't mind if that's what you guys want. If you want to send some more DMs, and then we can address it from there. But yeah, I'll be right back.
Beautiful girl, sparkling anything. I find it beautiful girl. It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.